Okay. I'm quite excited for New Year's Eve tomorrow. And it's not about the new year coming in, me getting a new chance at something and all of that, but it's the first anniversary of me becoming a fan of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. This video is dedicated to how I became a brony and the struggles I went through along my journey through the land of Technicolor equines. Laugh all you want, but I like it. As an American-born man, I grew up as a little boy with a snobby sense of standard that boy stuff was strictly boy stuff and girl stuff was strictly girl stuff. I've also been an animation, cartoon, and children's show fan for all my life. Yet I seemed to go in a phase at one point where I wanted more mature stuff, or so they say. My love for animation began through watching VHS tapes of Disney sing-alongs, and it's just night, Dad. Sorry, that was my dad. And it just enchanted me when I saw it. Like, how did they accomplish something like this? By the time I saw The Lion King, Toy Story, and James and the Giant Peach up on the big screen, I realized that that's what I wanted to do with my life, was innovate entertainment technology like these guys at Disney and Pixar, and create different worlds in the visual form of video games, movies, and television. I believe I can accomplish just that with animation. There were many shows I liked on TV that were animated, such as Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, Dexter's Laboratory, The Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Hey Arnold, The Rugrats, Doug, The Wild Thornberrys, and even Rocket Power. Of course, with my brother, David, I watched the superhero cartoons such as Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, reruns of the Thundercats, the Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Muppet Babies, DuckTales, the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, Goof Troop, and Gummy Bears. Oh, and from time to time, I would catch old Disney cartoons, like the 30s and 50s had from time to time on TV. Sorry I had to mention all these shows, but this was my 90s childhood. If you were a kid growing up during this decade, you would know what I'm talking about. I felt like the world would end in 2004 when Disney released Home on the Range, said at that point to be their final 2D animated feature, because 2D was what I defined animation and cartoons as. Like, that image permeated into my brain as what animation should be. Sure, I like Pixar and 3D animation, but 2D animation was what I mostly grew up with. I went through a phase where I became an animation snob, where I would only watch classic Rankin Bass Disney animation at the same time. When Disney started doing this tween thing with High School Musical, Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Wizard of Waverly Place, and stuff like that, my snobbiness grew. Yeah, I discovered that Pixar was influenced by the Rankin Bass specials, and the Rankin Bass specials influenced by classic Disney, which made my fascination for animation grow. And if I wondered if there would be any sort of animation that would be on the level of classic animation that I was immersing myself in. But alas, whatever I could find seemed like crap. And I gave Phineas and Ferb a try for a while because at least Disney still cared about animation and not live-action teens bickering. But I gave up on it because not only was it losing talent, an episode called Phineas and Ferb Get Busted made me misbehave really bad. And I won't go into the details. Another thing made me misbehave really badly as well. It was called Scooby-Doo, The Mystery Begins. I felt like they tortured my characters by making them be put under death threats, and threats for them to commit suicide. So many other gory details went, and still do go through my mind as I think about it, and connecting that with the fact that some shows feature a man slapping a woman or a child, or beating them, made me start abusing myself, and at one point I made my nose bleed and splashed it all over a door, and I cleaned it up. I had to behave better. I had to escape. I had to be set on the path to becoming a better, way nicer, less worried man who appreciates his family and never gets worried, upset, or agitated when he is consistently asked to do something. I pray to the Lord Jesus Christ if he could help me behave better I even had a therapist help me through, but I felt like if I could just live in an environment where everybody was happy, anything good and innocent could happen. And clouds were solid, walkable, squishable, fluffable, moldable, sinkable, bounceable, and even sleepable on, that I could become a better man and be exactly what God, my mom, and my dad wanted me to be. This is where My Little Pony Friendship is Magic came in. While trying to look for images of walking or sleeping on a cloud to try to calm myself down, I came across images of Rainbow Dash sleeping on a cloud. Then I came across images of artwork of cartoon ponies, and I had a feeling this was My Little Pony this was supposed to be. I neglected My Little Pony for a long time up to that point because it was a girls' show. Yet I found out that guys like me were watching this show. Like, what is going on? Are you kidding me? You like My Little Pony? That dumb, brainless 80s cartoon about Technicolor horses that pranced and sang like they didn't have a care in the world? It didn't make sense. And I wanted to check the animation by trying to watch an episode in mute, and it wasn't like frame by frame. It was a little bit of frame by frame, then some motion tween. Like I didn't feel like that was real animation and stuff at the time. But on New Year's Eve, after the countdown to 2012, I let curiosity get the better of me, searched for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic pilot, and with the volume turned down low, started to watch. I felt like I couldn't bear it because there was a bunch of girls and one boy, Spike. But then Nightmare Moon appeared, and I was like, is this now getting interesting? And then I watched part 2 of the pilot, and I felt like I just warped back to my youth with the animated adventure films I watched as a kid. And there was happiness in this show too. And I watched another episode, and another one, and another one, and another one. And before long, I was hooked. There was no going back. I loved My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and I still do. This was a show that not only was innocent and sweet, but also funny, cool, and so powerful at the same time. I don't really know much of shows these days where values of friendship, love, respect, generosity, kindness, honesty, all that stuff are reflected. As a matter of fact, I think this is the closest my generation is going to get to the Andy Griffith Show, that classic baby boomer show starring the late Andy Griffith and Don Knotts and Ron Howard, set in the fictional town of Mayberry. You know, all the values of friendship, love, respect, generosity, all that jazz. This show just does just that. And it's popular, and it's new, and it's a cartoon. And it has merchandise and toys, and it's got quite a big fan base, with fanfics, fan art, and YouTube videos all over the web. I didn't even have to watch something like CSI, Friends, Dollhouse, The Walking Dead, Mad Men, 2.5 Men, How I Met Your Mother, or lame reality shows, just to stick with the crowd. Unfortunately, I have a bit of a hard time sticking with the crowd, as I made a really embarrassing video back in March, where I unboxed My Little Pony toys and played them in a McDonald's. I've learned that from now. I've learned that before I submit anything, I need to get an editor, and Mom and Dad will be my editors. The show has a fan base that is really nice, but they sometimes make such mean and sadistic content and make mean jokes about Celestia, one of my favorite characters in the show, even though when it comes to favorites, Fluttershy is my favorite pony. Fanfics such as Cupcakes and Big Macintosh's Lesson, comics and parodies such as the ones on DeviantArt and Equestria Daily, and jokes such as Celestia is a troll, a goddess, a weakling, or a tyrant comes up all across the internet. And some people in the fanbase help reassure me of many of these things and what the right thing about it is. I've watched every episode up to the latest one, Spike at Your Service. I've met Tara Strong, the voice behind Twilight Sparkle, at DragonCon, and you know what? One day, when I have a career, I plan on working with the entire voice cast of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. At one point, I wanted to get on the show as a voice cast member, but I know that's not gonna happen. I've even started writing a screenplay for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic the movie. You know, for actual cinema screens and not direct to video. I plan to give the screenplay over to the voice cast of My Little Pony when I cast them for a commercial or an independent film or something. And since Peter Jackson shot the Hobbit trilogy at 48 frames per second, I want to be the one that creates the first ever animated movie in a high frame rate at 48 frames per second or 60 frames per second if you are James Cameron working on the Avatar sequels. I want to have it distributed in IMAX and HFR, but no 3D. I don't want that. This is going to be a 2D animated movie in 4,000 plus theaters, and this may be my chance to bring 2D animation back to the big screen. And if Disney won't do it, even though they tried, then somebody should, and I'm the guy to do it. No plot details in the movie yet, but I think when I get out of college and my dad helps establish my record, resume, and business, then I might be able to attempt to create the greatest animated movie since The Lion King or Finding Nemo. That's why I'm such a big fan of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Good luck and Happy New Year!